Hello everyone, Gomez here for the LAN channel again. Hopefully with more reveals this evening. The seasonal is going on. I think that cards are getting revealed throughout the season. But let's get in, see what champion they've got for us tonight, and let's get in. So we're getting Sion tonight, who is the Noxus champion, I believe. So we're getting from Noxus. Let's see what Noxus cards we're going to be getting. We already know that we've got the Bandle City Noxus card, but let's see what else we're going to be getting this evening with him. Okay, whoop. There we go. So, 7 mana, which is 3/6, with Overwhelm. When I'm discarded, grant your strongest ally to Overwhelm and place me into your deck, which I have +1 for each time you've discarded this game, or each card you've discarded. So yeah, again, like discard aggro, we already know that like Jinx Draven was a thing. So is this going to be like a three-way deck now? We're doing like 3 Jinxes, 2 Jinxes, 2 Dravens, and 2 Sions, because like obviously Draven's your instant thought of pairing because Draven's got the spinning axes and whatnot, but there's more discard synergy in P&Z as well. So I mean, like, you know, discard aggro players going to be loving this. So I have +1 for each time or each card you've discarded this game, with a maximum of +7. You've discarded or summoned that much power. Which so basically during the game you've got to have either discarded that much or summoned this much power. Which obviously every single time when he's being discarded, he is. He's getting more stats onto the board in general, but also he's getting plus stats for being discarded as well, because I have +1 for each time you've discarded this guy or each card you've discarded. So every single time you discard him and he's going back into the deck, he is actually like also going towards his level up as well. And like if you're pairing this with Jinx Draven, or like you're pairing with Jinx or Draven, you could potentially get a lot of like. Because I'm just trying to think, like, what other cards are there whereby their power, like, because the problem is that, so Jerry Rig, does Jerry Rig count as, because it's a spell card, but it drops as a 1/1, so does Jerry Rig actually count as you getting rid of 1 power and then summoning 1 power? Does it just count as the summon of 1 power? The, what's the Flame Chompers has got 0 power. So it's all about whether or not they're going to add more cards where if they get discarded, something else happens. That's going to be doing some things. Let's see what cards come with Sion. So, I mean, so we've got oh, the Grenadier! There's a second coming of the Grenadier! Who's a 1 mana, which is ephemeral. To play, discard a card. When I'm discarded, summon an Oh! So, when he gets discarded, he's summoning an exact copy of him already to the board, who's already, like, an ephemeral. But not only that, you're discarding 3 damage and then summoning 3 damage. So, technically, I think that he should count as 6 going into Sion's level up. I mean, there's loads of other ones which we can't see, and we'll wait until we see them. But that's what that looks like. Starts leveling himself up. I love everything. Oh, okay, right. What were you? Because I missed that. I do apologise. I should probably just let the whole video ride and then read. So, Noble Rebel, 3 mana, 3/2. Grant me +2/+1 once you've discarded 3 cards this game. So, literally, it's just one of those things where as long as you're playing some form of discard, be it through Jinx, be it through Draven, you should be able to get here very quickly. I mean, Rummage is already like 2 into, which is 2 out of the 3. There's so many cards which discard and in the game, like if you're running between those 2 regions, that it shouldn't be a problem to get this to a 5, which bear in mind it's a 5/3 with Overwhelm. And once that turns into a 5/3, yet again, you need to remember that also means that reputation cards get involved, like Whispered Word for more draw. So if you need more draw, like if you're playing Jinx, like a draw is not an essential thing, but if you're trying to get in there for the Sion, like trying to find Sion again to be able to discard him again, or even summon him so that you can get the level up, like draw is going to be essential. So the fact this goes up to 5 to be able to help Whispered Word is actually like quite a devastating thing as well. It's obviously 5 damage on Overwhelm is always going to be good anyway. So let's go and see what else is going on. So I mean, we got to see what that card was, but it's so, like that, like this unit, which a 3/2 with ephemeral, being able to burst speed summon that through rummage or any other like kind of like discard thing to be able to block and defend yourself as well as to go aggressive. Because bear in mind, like 3/2 is still an aggressive stat line to go forward with, because that's like a burst speed unit that you could get out. Like say that you rummaged Jerry Rig and the Flame Chomper, which also Jerry Rig and this guy. That's immediately 4 damage on the board right near the beginning of the game. Or what? That's it's not bad. I love this. I love the design of this character. Okay, I mean we already know what Urchin does. All right, so Ancient Warmonger, 5 mana, 5/5. When I'm discarded, grant your strongest ally +2. So bear in mind, yet again, this is one of these things where it's a powerful unit on its own to drop on 5, but if it gets discarded, it can grant extra damage into your strongest unit, which if your strongest unit is something with Overwhelm, or is, yet again, it's one of those things where if you need to get lethal, like say like Draven, say that Draven's leveled up and has got Overwhelm, the ability of being able to discard this to give him like +2 and then go forward for an open attack, like when your opponent hasn't got anything that can defend, like it's a versatile card that can be used either way, and it's that kind of design that I love in cards. Okay. King Jarvan. At least he's seen some play here. What is this spell? It looks devastating, whatever it is. I mean, I should have looked at what what's his face does. I mean, I've completely lost where that spell was, haven't I? This is my bad. I'm going terribly wrong. Alright, there we go. Sword and Stitches, which with 2 mana focus speed, which is to play, discard a card, summon so yet again, summon one of the 3/2s that have got ephemeral, and give it +2 this round. So you are discarding the card, summoning a card which has got 3 damage, but also giving it 5 damage. Yeah, again, helping towards reputation. This card on its own is helping towards reputation, but it's a big help to Sion because it means that you're discarding a card and then like summoning 5 damage yet again to help him get towards that discard or summon like that much. So I'll have to read what that card does in the end, but it's yeah, again, 5 damage going in for the reputation for Whispered Word. Again, it's just amazing. Okay. The king lives this time. I do apologise for me stopping and starting and pissing anyone off, but it's just the way that I'm so excited. I want to see what these cards are doing. For Demacia. Okay, so fast speed free cost, which yeah, like Noxus has got quite a few really good fast speed 3 mana cards, free mana spells. Roar of the Slayer, so which good to play, discard a card, kill the weakest enemy. So yeah, again, that is actually not a bad, like that's quite a strong card yet again coming in here, because it's very much board dependent, but if your opponent's not got anything else on the board, that is an immediate kill their big unit again. So it's one of these things where like Noxus gets really good cards, but it depends on what you're playing against. If your opponent is going wide on you, then obviously it's going to be killing the weakest. So it's a kind of balanced card in that thing, because it's either get rid of, if they've got very few cards, you could potentially get rid of something good, or it is if they've gone wide, it's only going to be getting rid of one. It's dedicated to be the weakest card. So yeah, again, I love the design of these cards because these are feeling strong yet balanced, in my opinion. So goodbye, King. No, father. Okay, let's have a quick little look and see what you were. Okay, I'm not. Why am I so terrible when it comes to doing this? God damn it, I'm so terrible. Okay, here we go. So Twin Blade Reverent. I'm assuming 4 mana, 3, which is 4/3. Last breath, create a lost soul in hand. It's got challenge, so immediately, like for 4 damage yet again. It'd be nice if it was 5 to hit the reputation again, but you can't have everything you want. So it's got, which we want to find out what lost soul does. Nice static challenge here. Oh! Oh, these level up animations are just too good now. They're too good. They're like, they need to watch it. They need to what's his face, go back and change some of the older ones to get them to be the movie standard that these ones are. So Overwhelm 10, which but they've been given extra damage for every single time when something's been discarded. So like to a maximum of 7. So that's not which is, so it can even be stronger potentially. We'll see how the card drops. But Last Breath, Sion returned. So summon Sion returned. So I'm assuming that it's gonna be another version of him. Is it gonna be stronger, or is this like a Trendemir? When he dies, it summons another version of him. That's gonna be interesting to find out. But yeah, like when I'm discarded, grant your strongest ally Overwhelm and place me back into the deck. So let's have a little look. Also, it's because even though they discard it, so are you just building up to this power then? Like, I felt like it would be plus a little bit extra. Maybe that would be a little bit crazy if it's still plus more.
Away with you.
But we get to see what summon Sion's returned. Oh, Death, just one more thing to conquer. So he is, so he comes back, but he's only ephemeral, which. So, the thing of it is, unless you can rally, like, find out whether or not there's some form, because, I mean, did they rally when this happened? Because they already went forward. Like, did I miss something here? Like, does it give you, it must give you the ability to rally again, because they'd gone forward, died, and then he comes in. So, yeah, again, there's an amazing animation when he comes in. He must rally, right? Because otherwise, how have they rallied back up again to be able to get... So, upon his death also means a rally, potentially, right? By the looks of this. And then just like, you know, quickly... More damage. Death is only the beginning. I mean, if he's a die, get himself back with ephemeral, but he also rallies. That's actually quite devastating. So, do we actually get to see? Yeah, when I'm summoned, rally. So, that is actually yet again quite devastating because it's one of those cards whereby, like Trendemir before, there was a really strong like Trendemir deck with Shadow Owls whereby you would use what's his face? They would use Atrocity to go into the core, but then that would level him up. So there is also the chance now of going forward with Sion. If Sion gets targeted to die, or if Sion lives, basically doing that big attack forward, your opponent then uses Mad, then use the Atrocity to do it to core, which if that doesn't kill them, the rally and overwhelm Sion coming forward, you would think that would kill them afterwards. So yeah, again, potentially a really strong Shadow Owls deck could form out of this as well, but I'm thinking to myself that it's looking more like it's going to be P and Z who are going to be hitting this because of the discard synergy. But you need to bear in mind as well that the other thing about his level up is that you've summoned that much damage, which when you consider the potential chance of him with a Viego deck, like how quickly Viego can like get his stats up, and like every single turn he's summoning another one of those, like potentially summoning another mist, whatever it's called, encroaching mist, like you could actually make a really powerful Shadow Owls deck here with Viego and Sion, which does have that Atrocity finisher, which the Atrocity finisher could come off of Viego, could come off of the Mist, it could come off of this Sion move, which is then going to be rallying, allowing you to go forward again. So, quite devastating, I'm not going to lie. You can take this, like what I love about Sion is he can actually be played in several different ways because of his either or, summoning that much power or discard that much power. So, I, for a fact, I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this guy. And yeah, let's see what other cards there are, because whether or not there's any cards that we didn't get to see. So let's go over to Mobilitics. Okay, so back over at Mobilitics. So the Roar is actually his champion spell as well. So it's just gonna be one of those things whereby, yeah, again, it's discard and it's getting rid of the weakest one of your opponent. So let's have a look here, because we have not seen these cards. So the Fallen Reckoner Fallen Reckoner, so more Reckoners we're getting. Overwhelm, 5 mana, 4/3. When I'm summoned, grant cannot block to the weakest enemy. So yeah, again, like if you're doing a really powerful Overwhelm deck, you might even just beat your opponent down before they even get a chance to, like, before you even get a chance to level Sion, because this is going to mean that you can make sure that they can't block, which most of the time people block with their weakest stuff anyway on stuff that doesn't have Overwhelm. So the fact that you're stopping a block, and then last Beth, create a Risen Reckoner, and Risen Reckoner is when I'm summoned, grant block to which it cannot block to the weakest enemy again. Now admittedly, this is one of those things where it's maybe more beneficial for Shadow Isles because of the fact that once this goes forward, which it last breath summons, which it like a, create it in hand. It's not a summon. Create in hand, so then you can decide when to use this. I was gonna say, if this was an instant summon to the board, like Sion himself, like Shadow Isles, and the ability to use Glimpse would be a thing. But I guess if you're actually no, it says when I'm summoned, so that could have worked for a last breath immediate summon. But this is getting this in hand. Quite a strong little thing whereby you can actually just like continuously force your opponent not to be able to block certain things. And if you're going down this Overwhelm, or potentially, actually there's no point in going down a Fearsome route, because Fearsome, like I said, if you were doing Shadow Isles, because of the fact that if it's the weakest, it might not be able to defend anyway. So let's get in. We've got this one as well. Fallen Rider, 2 mana, 3/1. When I'm discarded, create a Risen Rider in hand. And Risen Rider we saw on the board, which was this card here. So Fearsome with which it actually, or was that the one? I swear we saw this artwork on the board. But yeah, so that is actually yet again really powerful combination like of these cards here. So being discarded, so either playing this for a 3/1 or discarding it just so that you can get quite a good statted Fearsome unit in hand that only costs 2. Lost Soul, when I'm summoned or discarded, create this. So yeah, again, it's like an 8 mana card, which is most of the time gonna be discarded, I assume, because you're gonna be using it for discard synergy. Like if you were going down, said like a discard aggro, because for an 8 cost, summoning this, yep, sure, but it's giving you the Twin Blade Reverend, which has got the challenge. Well, actually, no. Actually, this is the only way that you can make this card that then gives you a loss. So these two perpetually give each other the certain things. So you can use this to create this, but then when this dies, it gives you another. So actually, this gives you a perpetual thing whereby either way, you could get like, that's kind of a weird, kind of crazy thing whereby you just continuously just got these things going on in hand and whatnot, like moving between each other. So yeah, again, really powerful. Plus as well, that is getting rid of 5 to go into the Sion thing if you discard it. But I said if you summon it, then you're just getting this thing whereby it gives you another one of these in hand, which can then be discarded. So works really powerful with discard aggro, kind of like that kind of a move. But for an 8 cost and not having a keyword, it's gonna feel really kind of bad just to summon this guy. The discard value is more where this card gets involved. But yeah, that's just where that's just my opinion about that card. I feel like it'd be used in discard, probably not out of discard, because for 8 mana, when you know that you've got things like Captain Farron, who's got Overwhelm and 2 Decimates on his side, like you're not really using this for the summon, you're using this for the discard. So we saw these other 2, the Noble one and that. Let's see whether there's any other cards that we didn't see. So the last 2 cards we didn't see, which are the Old Man comes back for 2 mana, 2/2, discard a card. So discard a card to play a unit. So that just means that so play discard a card to draw units. So it's just a little bit more draw in discard aggro if you were going to be going down that route, as well as it's discarding something which can then be helping level Sion. It could be Sion who you are discarding. Like, not a bad card at all for draw in that kind of a deck. And as I said, like a lot of the cards in there have got maybe a slight, especially the one next to it, who can give the Reborn Grenadiers a 5 attack. Like the ability of being able to get to the draw factor of like the reputation cards, like as well. So there's actually quite a lot of draw that's nice within that deck. So I'm liking the idea of that. And the last one is an 8 mana slow speed Weapons of the Lost. Deal 3 to a unit to summon the a Fimigy Shieldbreaker. Like, do we already know what? Like, I'm just trying to think. Which is that the? Is that the 5/4 that can't block? I can't remember what the hell the Trifarian, like, because I use the Trifarians every now and again, but I can't remember which each one of them does. But it's doing 3 damage to a unit, and summon this Trifarian Shield Breaker. So it's got to be better than the 4th, because I mean, for 8 mana, which technically with Senna could be 7 mana fast speed. Is that really worth it? That's the thing. I need to remember what the hell the Shield Breaker does. I mean, it shows how little I use this card, but the Trifarian Shield Breaker is the 5, which is the 5 mana, 6/5 with Fearsome. So for 8 mana, potentially 7 mana or so if you were playing Senna, whether or not that is, let's just go whoop. Whether or not that is useful enough for that, I'm not 100% sure, but there's definitely other ways of doing 3 damage, but it could be using some niche kind of meme decks. I might try to build a deck around it, but those are the cards. I'm actually really loving the design of Sion here, like, and these discard cards that we are getting, because Noxus has always had like discard stuff when it comes to Draven, but not too many things that work with him within his own region. Like, it's been mostly you have to go to PNC. Which admittedly, like, you know, you kind of like would be the best place for it. But the fact that you could do some discarding stuff within the own region of Noxus is very nice, especially the Reborn Grenadier. Like, such a good card to be able to have like burst speed, this ephemeral who can just come out and block or go forward for damage. So gotta say, loving these cards. What do you think of these cards? I'd love to hear your opinions down in the comment section down below. Bear in mind, obviously, shameless plug time, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. You can catch me live on Twitch on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, as well as there is the link down below to the Discord, where there is still time to get involved with the custom card contest that closes tomorrow, Sunday. So if you want to get involved with that, please feel free to, like, as well as if you want to check out my Zir megaphone thing that went live today, just a stupid, like, pretend advert I made, please feel free to check that video out that I posted earlier on. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you enjoy yourself, and if you did enjoy or found anything interesting or whatnot, why not consider hitting that subscribe button? But do not feel forced. These are the options that are available to you. So until next time, goodbye from Flash of Brilliance that could save me. Save me! That doesn't save me. Okay, say anything from you. Save me. That doesn't save me! Okay. Get rid of this and get rid of this. Find something that can save me.